Good morning, everyone. I'm Alessandro Monterosso, CEO and co-founder at PatchAi, the first virtual assistant for patients enrolled in clinical trial. Bringing a medicine to the market takes 15 years, during which costly studies called clinical trials are conducted to test the drug and to collect plenty of data from patients. We all have heard about personalized medicine, precision treatments, but to get there, pharma company needs to collect data outside the hospital, during the common daily life of people. But pharma is dealing with a big problem: low patient engagement. That is nothing else than their proactive collaboration during the study. I've experienced it personally when I was working as a clinical trial nurse in a hospital. Drugs are tested on real patients who take risks because the drug is experimental, and they can get randomly assigned to the placebo. They feel like subjects, like lab rats, because they are continuously observed. They need to take a lot of pills, undergo a lot of procedures, fill a lot of papers. Indeed, during trials, a lot of patients forget to take their therapy or take double dosage. They miss the visits, which in turn leads them to leave the study. But this has not just a huge impact on people's quality of life. This brings the trials to delays, to experience long delays, which in turn has a huge impact on sales. Today, technology allows us to actually implement solutions that will get benefits both to engage patients and to collect health valuable data. The problem is that today, 50% of trials still use pen and paper for data collection. Yes, you heard it right. In an era in which 2/3 of the global population has a smartphone, patients use pen and paper for health and their smartphones for everything else. At PatchAi, we engage patients at every step of the clinical trial. PatchAi is the first virtual companion that mimics human conversation, chatting with the patients like a friend does on WhatsApp, and collecting health valuable data using highly empathetic and engaging way. PatchAi remembers to patients to take their therapy as prescribed, to report their symptoms in real time, and motivates that throughout the clinical trial journey. But it is not just an app. It is a cognitive platform that allows doctors and pharma companies to look what's going on in real time and peek into the future. Using PatchAi will improve the overall patient experience, which in turn leads to better quality of life, and would help pharma companies to lower the costs and the timing of the trial. Every year, there are 1 million patients enrolled in clinical trials, and half of the market, as you can see, is non-served, and is valued over 2.5 billion. There are hundreds of competitors offering digital solutions to collect data, but they look like this. And it's not a matter of user interface. They are as much boring as filling paper forms. They fail to engage patients. We use innovative technologies as machine learning to build our proprietary algorithms that allows our virtual assistant to learn from patients' behavior and health status and implement personalized strategies to engage them through conversations. Novartis is so excited of the potential impact of PatchAi that will use our MVP by the end of the year for a breakthrough therapy on migraine. And international news press already talked about us. Our team is international and is made by doctors, nurses, scientists, and tech nerds. By the end of the summer, we're going to get the certification as Medical Device Class 1. We are not just a software. We're going to release the full product next year and give predictive analytics in 2 years. We are raising 750,000 euro, for which half of the round has been secured already. We will use the money to speed up our product development and to hire brilliant people who will help us in reaching our mission, improve people's quality of life, and help pharmaceutical companies to offer safer, affordable, and personalized drugs with patient engagement at every step. Thank you. Now I'm going to show you how PatchAi works. Let's assume that Novartis needs to take this breakthrough therapy on migraine. By using pen and paper, patients would have gone to the doctor once a month, but they need to fill every day one questionnaire, every day for 30 days, bringing piles of paper to the doctor. What you're looking at is the next release that will be ready in 2 weeks. What I'm showing you now is the current release that we tested on real patients from which we gathered information to actually improve the usability. Give me 1 minute. The Wi-Fi is not that strong here.
It's okay.
Okay. I have migraine. I suffer from migraine. I am into this trial, and I'm just going to take a coffee, and I'm taking a walk. I'm very bad at remembering things, and I always forget to take the drug. But PatchAi sent me a message to actually remember to take my drug. Like a friend does on WhatsApp. Your mom remembers you to take the keys and to not forget that at home. I forgot to take the pill again. Thank you, Patch. I'm going to take it. I just enter, I log in, and I say to PatchAi, I forgot it. With personalized pre-filled answers for every single patient. I'm going to check in a minute. But after a few minutes, I started having headache. And with pen and paper, it's impossible to get to know to the doctor what's going on. And I don't feel safe. But with PatchAi, I can report in real time that I have a headache. It's simple. So sorry to hear that. Can you please, he's an headache on a migraine, medical terms. Actually, I don't know because it's just started. And then the conversation go ahead and send to the doctors notification in order to let them control in real time what's the current situation and see on an interactive platform for which they can build by clicking different statistics what's going on and our unique engagement scoring. To wrap it up, PatchAi has the potential to revolutionize the drug development process and to impact the quality of life of millions of patients around the globe. Thank you very much for the attention.
Some questions for Alessandro?
Hi.
Hi.
So just a question. So the patients who are enrolled in the clinical trials, before they enroll, will need to download the app. And then what happens if patients are above the age of 60 or 70 who don't actually have smartphones or who don't know what an app is?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so good question. Thank you for that. So essentially, trials are very regulated and as fixed protocols. So what happens? When they are enrolled in clinical trials, they sign an informed consent in which they allow to actually follow some rules, in which they are filling some questionnaires. We adopt the bring your own device solution. So actually, we let people download their app on their mobiles. During their first visits, the onboarding visits, the doctors just print a unique code from their dashboard that we collect from which we collect previous information from other e-sources, such as medical records. We pre-fill them, they print unique codes, QR code, they download the app with the doctors that will be trained on doing that with older people. And then they just use their unique code, they can switch to biometric, and they can use their personal password. In regards with patients, there are competitors working on consumer which average age is over 60. In the case of, for example, therapeutical areas, such as ophthalmology or Parkinson's disease or two older people, we're planning to overcome that very soon by implementing with Google Home and Alexa to actually give at every patient at home a virtual assistant, PatchAi, talking with them.
So what happens if, I say, have a really serious form of some kind of a side effect, will the system recommend the next step? And if so, would that need FDA approval? And are you doing any of the diagnosis part?
That will be from the end of the next year. So far, we're getting the certification as medical device class 1. It means that we can inform the clinical practice, and we claim to improve the patient experience. And we are collecting informations that are provided by the protocol. From the next year, we are going to increase with the new regulation as medical device class 2, in which we gather adverse events information and send triggering and notification to the doctors recommending the next step, with the target in 2 years to have predictive analytics and to guide the clinical decisions.
So we have more questions here, so very quickly. I didn't get it. Who do you sell to? Who is paying you?
Yeah.
One question. And the second is about the product. How do you decide on the next question? How the system decides on the next question to ask to the patient?
Okay, thank you very much. So our main clients is big pharma.
I don't think pharma does clinical trials. I think CRO does.
They pay for clinical trials, regardless. There are half of the pharma companies running internal trials, half of them are run through outsourcing to clinical research organization. Whatever is the decision, who decides the service providers is always the pharma. Right now we're working like this. They outsource the trial, but they choose us, and they tell to the contract research organization to integrate with us. All decision making is in there. In regard with the questions, we sit down with the clinical trial team around 3 to 6 months before the study initiation, and that is a standard into the market, and we consult them to actually implement a data collection and analysis strategy. We choose together the data points that needs to be collected. Then based on that, we build internally a medical team and a nurses team all the different questions and answers in regards to the data points. Then that goes through a behavioral scientist and a team of psychologists that validate it, and then the conversation goes. Actually, it has the potential to enlarge and enlarge, and as much as it chat with patients, learn more.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, really cool. I mean, this is the way it should work, obviously, and it's clear that you have a great feel for product. It looks beautiful. But I have a question regarding like market sizing and sales cycles and stuff like that. So, like, how big part of the clinical trials would usually go into, I'd say, the communication with patients and so forth? So how big can this become?
Yeah. All of the companies do, half of them through paper. There are 21,000 trials per year. New trials. Around 7,000 trials right now collects real-world data. And the number of trials collecting the real-world data increased 500% during the last 5 years. It's going to get to the 100% because payers are not just looking for data into a hospital. They want to see real-world evidence that the drug works.
So how big can it become?
What?
What's like the market? Is it 2 point something billion?
It's 2.4 billion, increasing on a CAGR of 18%.
Got it.
And actually half of it is unserved because they use paper.
Isn't there like a complexity around the dynamics? Because the big pharma company, they're like paying for the trial, and then there's a company conducting the trial. Mm-hmm. And while big pharma, they want better quality of data, and they would benefit from using your platform, the company conducting the trial wouldn't like to give money to you guys. Isn't there like a...
It depends, really depends. Usually, the contracted research organization run the trial from logistic to drug supply to patient enrollment, but it's still pharma, as I said before, that decide the service providers for data collection. So actually, right now, we're living the same situation with Novartis. They have the trial outsourced with the contracted research organization that offers the data collection that we do. But they got there. We use PatchAi, we integrate with them. That's it. Decision making centralized at the global level.
Last question. Yeah.
Is part of your strategy just to replace for some trials the paper base and not even having any AI or predictive analytics?
Of course, we don't sell magic. Our clients, such as Novartis, knows that our AI still doesn't work. We have a machine learning algorithm that needs to be trained. But as much as we are engaging patients, even at a low level right now at the beginning, they are happy anyway, and they know that we won't be that predictive or that engaging at the beginning. They know that we need patients' data to leverage it and to improve it at a certain point.
do you already have that built? I only noticed in the system here in the app only using AI. I did not see like filling a form like a paper-based system. Do you have that as well?
No, we don't. So what we are doing with Novartis, we are letting the patients, part of the patients filling just papers. The other part we'll do with the PatchAi. We're going to test quality of life. We're going to test all the metrics, also financially, to actually build a huge business case in order to show what's the benefit of using PatchAi compared to paper-based. But there's plenty of literature saying what's the pros of digital solutions compared to paper-based. Then we are not digitalized only, we are empathetic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Big round of applause. Good stuff, Alejandro.